Hello, everyone. Let me adjust this. Okay. I got a question from James Nolanowski. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Mosquito flying around over here. He wants to know if I did a video on poxing birds. And the answer to that is yes. But we'll do it again. Before we get into that, many of you have purchased the book. What I want to tell you about that, first of all, it's an ebook. You're going to get an email when you purchase it to download it. You'll have 5 opportunities to download the booklet. It's short, brief, and to the point. What I want to say about that is you follow the instructions in there. Get your birds healthy. It tells you the basics how to do that. But you make sure that the birds are healthy. And then you follow the motivation that I've outlined in that booklet. And I'm going to tell you, you will be beating flyers that have been flying for 30 or 40 years. I know this. I know this because I was one of them. And I won a lot of races. So follow what it says to do. Do it. Just do it. Train hard and do it. And I promise you, you're going to be very, very competitive. Okay, now let's get on to James's question. James, I don't have any pigeons to demonstrate for you anymore. Because of my health, I had to get rid of them. But let me tell you, when you purchase the vaccine, it's going to come in 2 vials. You mix them together. Let me also mention, don't let them get hot. It'll kill the vaccine. Have to keep it cool. It might be wise for you to order it when it's cooler and keep it refrigerated. It has to remain cool. The way to vaccinate the birds is 2 ways. One, there's a brush where you pull some feathers off the hock of the leg. Just pull a couple feathers and rub the brush. It's a stiff bristle brush on the leg so that the vaccine can penetrate where the follicles came out, the feather follicles. The other way to do it is you mix the vaccine and you have a needle. You dip it in there and you prick the bird. Just give it a little pinch, maybe 1 or 2, and the bird will be vaccinated. Now let me also mention to you, it's going to take 2 weeks before the bird gets sick. The vaccine, your birds will have no immunity to it, but that doesn't matter because you've just poxed them. But it's going to be 2 weeks before they get sick. And when they get sick, you don't want to train them. You don't want to probably even let them out. Don't even let them out. Just hold them in. You'll see scabs forming where you either pulled out the feathers or you pricked that bird, and that's the pox developing in the pigeon. That scab eventually will fall off. When it dries out, maybe take about another week, so 3 weeks after you vaccinated them, you might start letting them out, but just don't train them yet. Wait another week or so. Let the birds get over the pox, the fever. You'll know when you let them out that the birds begin to fly. They feel real good. They start to loft fly terrifically, especially if you've had them healthy before you vaccinated them. And that's a good idea. Make sure you vaccinate them you get them healthy before you vaccinate them. And that's basically it, James. It's a pretty simple thing. The thing to know is that it takes 2 weeks for the birds to get to the fever stage, and they are really sick at that stage. So you want to keep them in. All right? I hope I explained it to you well. Again, for those of you that bought the book, follow the motivation in that book. I promise you, you'll have 80% of your competition beaten, and only a few flyers that really know what they're doing are going to be giving you a headache. Okay, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.
Would like to talk about pigeon pox. Pigeon pox is a virus that pigeons get from time to time. It's not too common lately, but it's possible your pigeons could get pigeon pox. There is a vaccine for it that they sell. It's very fragile. You got to really keep it chilled, and when they're transporting it and everything, the heat will kill it, destroy it, and it won't work. But there's something about pox you should know, especially if you do pox your birds. The virus takes about 2 weeks before it gets to the fever stage, and that's the worst time. A lot of flyers are unaware of that fact, that the pigeons 2 weeks after you pox them are very, very, very sick. They're running a very high temperature. They're not feeling well at all. Not at all. And a lot of guys, flyers, are unaware of it. They poxed their birds a week ago. The birds are doing pretty good. They're flying around. They're unaffected by it. So they start to train their birds. And if at that stage they take them out on a fairly long toss, you could lose a lot of pigeons. Pigeon just, he don't feel like flying. He is sick, running a high fever. If you've ever had a high fever, you could understand. And most of us at some point in time have. So that's a fact that you should be aware of. Another thing you may want to be aware of, if you pox your birds, is not to give them a bath. You might have vaccinated them, pulled a few feathers around the legs and rubbed it in. If you give them a bath, they jump in the bath water and they fight. The pigeons got pox at that stage. And they get it around the eyes, anywhere they get picked. A little cut, only takes a little scratch. The virus is very, very tiny, but very sickly. So you wouldn't want to give them a bath until they're well over the pox. How would you know that you could start to train them again? Let the pigeons tell you. When they get over the pox, they're going to feel good. They're going to feel real good. Their immune system's up. Everything is working well. They'll fly. They'll fly for that hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 3. They're telling you, I feel good. You can train me. Be aware of pox. Another thing you may want to consider, if you don't pox your birds, if a flyer does, and he puts that bird in a basket, especially if you have a load-on trailer where the birds are mixed together, it's possible a bird could get bitten by somebody else's pigeon fly. You don't have any, you gave them moxidectin, right? But pigeon flies, they can travel. Maybe a mosquito bites one, bites another one. You get pigeon pox without vaccinating your birds. And the birds don't have immunity to it. It's very slow. One by one by one by one, they get it. You're into the racing season. Pigeon got bit 2 weeks ago. No signs of pox. Pick them up, you don't know. You put them out, you send them to a 250-mile race, your best bird, and you don't come home. Few things to be aware of with pigeon pox.